Hi, I'm Ashley Rogers, and this is Beyond the Ticker. Today, I sat with developer and CEO of Main Data Group, a breakthrough startup company here in Silicon Valley. Main Data Group, a leader in executive compensation and retirement benchmarking data, started only 7 years ago. Here's how one brilliant man's dream started and how Craig Main made his brainchild such a quick success. Hi, Craig. Thank you for sitting with me today.
Thanks as well.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about the company.
Well, where would you like to start?
Okay, well, Main Data Group is a startup company. How did you get the idea for such a software?
I moved to Silicon Valley from Buffalo. And when I moved, my dad gave me a hat and it said, "Take the extra step." I think he knew that I had a kind of burning desire to start a company. So after I'd been out in Silicon Valley for 10 years, I had built an insurance and investments practice. I visited with a board of directors of a bank. And the meeting went well, and the chairman of that bank, asked me to visit his home personally. He told me that he was uncomfortable offering the benefit package that I had recommended in the board meeting unless he knew peer companies offered the same data. And the idea was conceived. Benchmark data was valued by CEOs and chairmen of banks. So it was kind of a cool moment. Within one day, we went from having an insurance practice to having an executive compensation benchmarking practice. And then we had to build the tool.
You worked in insurance for many years, and you grew up in Buffalo. How did you make the transition to living in California and creating your own business?
It's so interesting. I think I was bred or built to be a Silicon Valley guy. My education's chemical engineering, so I'm technically oriented by nature. But before I moved to Silicon Valley, I'd been a salesman as an investment salesman for a stock brokerage firm for a year. So I moved out full of energy. Initially, I built an insurance and investment planning practice. As my clients asked me to help them plan, they explained their issues. One issue that I ran into with 2 or 3 of my more successful clients was how they should plan for their executive retirement plan. These people were bankers, and those plans were common in their industry. I founded Main Data Group to provide reliable benchmarking data for those executive retirement plans initially. It all seemed to tie together nicely. Executives need to know they're being treated fairly by their companies, and now with increased regulation, companies need to know that their executive pay benchmarks in a fair and reasonable fashion.
When did you start engineering the product, and how long till you could say, okay, I'm ready to share this with the world?
We started in 2006. The company was me and one programmer. By 2009, we knew that we had built the foundation properly, so that's when we increased the burn rate for the company. And by 2011, we knew the product was good enough to start showing to customers. So, kind of an amazing process. You say 6 years, but there's 2 million lines of code. So, it's kind of spectacular you could write that much code, 2 guys.
Looking back at the last 7 years, what was the most significant moment in the company's development?
In 2011, we crossed an important technical threshold. So we knew at that point we'd have a product, or we could develop a product that companies could use. In 2012, while we were still in beta, 2 of our first 5 subscribers were among the 10 largest companies in the country. And that was exciting. That was very important for us to get that early validation.
Just like in any type of business, there's competition. What sets Main Data Group apart from the other platforms out there?
Our product's easier to use than our competitors, and we designed the product to be that way. The texture of our product we think is better than competitors. We include source excerpts from proxies to make our content easier to use by subscribers. And the depth and the breadth of our data on the key pieces of executive pay, which subscribers care the most about, really is unmatched.
With all the new laws in place, such as the Dodd-Frank Act, companies seem to be changing the way that they're filing and what has to be made public knowledge. Does this fuel your desire to implement the most accurate data possible?
It sure does. The Enron scandal and other prominent scandals and the resulting scrutiny from corporate governance consulting firms really changed the tenor of how companies looked at benchmarking data. So that happened through 2007, I guess post 2007. It really wasn't possible to benchmark retirement pay accurately until companies improved their disclosures. Not only has our attention to detail been encouraged by the need for companies' need for accurate data, but our ability to deliver great data has really improved over the last couple years.
Since the beginning stages of development, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen within the industry, and what effect did it have on how you wanted to structure your software?
It was really interesting to watch the fear of change in the industry post-Enron. And then it was interesting to watch corporate advocacy companies really have a bully pulpit. And then this last couple of years, it's been interesting to watch companies embrace more sophisticated executive pay analytics. So our product has changed with the world, with our industry, and I think pay for performance is here to stay. So I think our product, which is leading the way in executive pay, is part of that thought leadership in the industry.
Going forward, what are some of the most important components to continuing your success?
It's important that we know our role in the data food chain and stay focused on delivering product data with a sophisticated set of processes and good analysts. I met with a number of executives for another data company, and they were proud that their data was collected completely in less than an hour. We spend between 5 and 6 hours studying data for each company that we populate in our database. Our data is more thorough and has a more solid foundation than that particular competitor's data. So as a result, our product is better for fundamentally solid reasons. Ease of use is also an important advantage of ours. So as we move forward, we need that stake in the ground. We need to always have the tool that's the easiest to use in the executive pay industry.
Where do you see the company in the next 5 years?
We're on a great path. Data is so interesting, and we'd love subscribers to come along as we listen and learn and expand our data footprint.
With everything that you know now, with your successes as well as your mistakes, if you could go back and talk to the you who started this 7 years ago, what advice would you give yourself?
If I had that chance to go back or to give advice to a new person, I'd say I'd commit an even greater effort on creating an environment where we could train young people to be future experts in executive comp.
It appears your market is narrow. What sets Main Data Group apart from its competitors?
Well, we're in a B2B market, and in many ways, B2B markets overlap and intersect. Right now, I've limited our focus on purpose to executive pay. But watch us. Over the next few years, we're going to hopscotch to other B2B markets. But first, I want to master the executive comp and corporate governance data set first. So I don't know if I'd call our market narrow, or at least I wouldn't call our future narrow.
What are you most proud of about your product?
I'm proud that we've held true to our vision. I'm proud that we had the intellectual toughness to not take shortcuts and also not cannibalize the product by trying to monetize just one piece. And I guess I'm proud that we have an all-in-one tool that's easy to use.
Why would a company decide to do business with Main Data Group?
Gosh, we're passionate about our product, and we're off to a great start. We have an easy-to-use product, easiest to use in the marketplace, and we're proud of having an all-in-one tool that we offer at a fair price.
Is your product finished, or do you plan some upgrades?
Snapshot Data's product enhancements over the next 18 months are going to be incredible. The cloud, which is really our subscribers' feedback, is our roadmap for improvements.
Can you elaborate on that?
Our starting point was parsing retirement data from proxy statements. What a competitive advantage at this point. Using our retirement data collection process, we've built a really granular incentive pay product. The next 3 or 4 pieces of content that we're going to develop are going to be using our ability to collect difficult data and do it in a way that no one else in the world can collect data right now. There's additional data in the proxy that we can collect that will save our subscribers time.
Can you tell us about some of your largest customers?
It's fun to tell people that Chevron and AT&T and several of the other Fortune 10 companies are subscribers. We also work with many of the largest compensation consulting firms who buy their data from us, then refine it into their format to give to those same companies.
What ignited the spark in you to start Maine Data Group?
I moved to California to make my mark, but all along I couldn't shed my belief that planning for retirement was important. So when I learned that executives in the C-suite and board members needed benchmarking data, the spark happened and I knew I had a product that I could dig my teeth into and develop.
Where did your organization's funding and capital come from, and how did you go about getting it?
We're self-funded for the most part. We have an important strategic partner, a company named the Newport Group is the best non-qualified plan administrator in the country. So the Newport Group has a competitive advantage in their marketplace with research powered by Maine Data Group. So they've provided some bridge funding.
How do you find people to bring into your organization that truly care about the organization as much as you do?
People are our magic. We're always looking for passionate, detail-oriented people. We hire the top graduates from the best universities in the United States.
How important have good employees been to your success?
Our employees have been so committed, and I'm so proud of each employee. It takes a big team of employees to cull all the data that we're collecting.
How did you build a successful customer base?
You know, our product needs to speak for us. We have a great corporate culture, but we can't kid ourselves. It's our product, both our technology and our data, which our analysts call with love and attention, that lead the way and would cause a potential subscriber to become a subscriber, or for a company to stick with us once they've become a subscriber.
What has been your most successful moment in business?
Our biggest department is our research department. And a couple of years ago, I asked our research team to develop our incentive pay product. It took a couple tries, but they came through. The team reached a new level building that content. The thought that we can provide spectacular content with a small group of expert analysts is a really exciting thought for me.
What kind of culture exists in your organization?
We're optimistic and we're smart. We're Silicon Valley, so we embraced action.
And how did you establish this tone, and why do you institute this type of culture?
I think our product chose our culture, and I listened. I know that sounds backwards, but really smart people use and like data.
So what's unique about your process of gathering data?
Our goal really is to make our product easy to use. So we collect very specific, poignant excerpts from the proxy statement to support the data we place in tables. So in a lot of ways we collect more data than our competitors. By collecting excerpts, we have a unique opportunity to triple check data, which helps our data quality.
And what steps do you take to make sure that the data is most accurate?
We triple check data in a carefully crafted series of data entry steps. We found that if we have a junior analyst enter data and then debrief their boss, the senior analyst, we end up with cleaner data than if we had just had the data double checked. That might be more typical of maybe a competitor's process.
Is your product a download or is it cloud-based?
It's both. It's really important that we deliver content in the format that the client wants to use. Our cloud-based product navigates easily, and I think people use that to stage information. And then our downloads are robust and provide an incredible level of detail.
How reliable is it since it's cloud-based? Is it 24/7?
It is available 24/7. Our access over the cloud is incredibly reliable. I can't remember a downtime that lasted more than 15 minutes in the several years we've been live. We use a hosting service that has a great reputation for reliability.
Why don't you use surveys for data when others find it their most reliable source?
Surveys are great, and they provide forward-looking information. For many job positions, job titles, survey information is the only information available. But surveys also have inherent flaws. Survey bias, which is a dynamic in surveys where only companies who often pay high or have some other characteristic respond to the survey, skew data. In our process, we're able to source public information. We're able to have information for every company. So for the job titles that we benchmark, our data is more thorough and better quality than the information that can be possibly even supplied with a survey. Surveys also have intrinsic data quality problems. We provide data based on disclosures in SEC filings. The job titles we benchmark are limited to the top executives. We also benchmark pay targets, incentive pay metrics, and retirement pay, both prevalence and value, which apply to all job positions or a broad range of job positions.
Can your product coexist with the surveys or even competitors or consulting companies?
We've heard from the marketplace that our primary competitor are HR departments themselves manually culling information. So we can coexist. HR departments most often, are excited to find out they have a tool that will support and enable them to not pull the information themselves. HR executives are excited when they hear there's a cost-effective tool available. We can coexist with other data suppliers. Our incentive pay design information and our retirement design information is unique, so we're the only vendor in the world that provides that information on a large scale on a subscription basis. And we have many subscribers who also subscribe to other data sources.
A lot of targeted and potential clients use consultants. Why would they use both?
You know, we hear that objection on the phone a lot. I think it's sort of a knee-jerk reaction. Consultants fill an important role and have a unique perspective. Many questions that arise in an executive suite or in a boardroom don't require consulting advice. They might be requests for information about a competitor, maybe information on a company that a targeted executive that a company wants to recruit currently works for. Human resource executives need to have access to data, I think, in general, and they can fill a bigger role within their companies if they have easy access to data. And so companies can save money by subscribing to our tool.
And how did you determine your pricing model?
We offer an all-in-one tool for a fixed price with unlimited use. No modules, no download fees.
How do you feel that government relations are impacting business now, and how will they impact in the future?
Recent regulations have fueled the compensation consulting industry's growth in recent years. Both new regulations and also the internet will increase companies' appetite for data. And in general, the need to trust the companies that we're investing in as in an investing public is fundamental to our whole financial system. So for me, it's exciting to be part of the data infrastructure that we need in our country in order to trust when we make investments.